The Bulls are 4-0 for the first time since Michael Jordan played for the Bulls. That's impossible. We have three teams that the dream of 82-0 is still alive, Kevin.
The dream.
Those teams are the Chicago Bulls, the Golden State Warriors, and the Utah Jazz. Now, Utah's only played twice. They've only played twice, so they got 80 left. But the Bulls, after it got dicey last night, they blew a 20-point lead to Toronto, and you could tell everybody was sweating as Fred VanVleet took a shot at the buzzer that clanked off.
Looks good.
It did look good. It was a nice
great crossover. Great move.
Nice little move. Almost
good.
Got there. But the Bulls did hang off, and they're 4-0. And, I'm seeing these headlines everywhere this morning, which is just absolutely unbelievable, that the Bulls are 4-0 for the first time since Michael Jordan played for the Bulls. That's impossible. Michael Jordan.
I know. It's just 4-0. It's like it's not an outrageous record.
It's not like they're 10-0. Yeah, right. It's not like they started the season 10-0. The last time the Bulls started 4-0, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman led a lockdown defense that was one of the NBA's elite on a team that went on to win 69 games. Nice.
Nice.
Much like that team, the Bulls, they've done it with defense. They've surrendered less than a point per possession, 97.1 defensive rating so far. But look, and I'm not gonna rain on any Bulls fans' parade. This is a moment of celebration. That being said, they have beaten teams that are combined 2-9. The Cadeless Detroit Pistons twice, the Zion-less New Orleans Pelicans, the Siakam-less Toronto Raptors. But they're 4-0. They're 4-0, and hope springs eternal. We're about to find out, Kev. Their next 6 games are New York, Utah, Boston, Philly twice, and Brooklyn.
So how about after that? After that, Dallas, Golden State, Clippers, Lakers, Blazers, Nuggets, West Coast road trip. Yeah. I mean, like it gets really tough, really fast.
We're about to find out really quickly. This has been a nice story. It's a cool headline with them being 4-0 for the first time since Jordan and having this 97.1 defensive rating. We're about to see, because if there is one thing that nobody thought this Bulls team was going to be able to do, it was defend at an elite level, right? And that feels like function of opponent so far. But again, as with everything in the season, as the days and weeks go on, we find out more and more about these teams. But we're about to find out really quickly if they are going to be better defensively than we thought they were going to be. And kind of what they look like against teams that we expected to be their peers, because none of the teams they have played so far are those that we expected to be the Bulls' peers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, it's 100% true that this next stretch is going to prove who the Bulls really are. But I think regardless of opponent, Chris, these first 4 games, they do look like a completely locked in defense right now. Alex Caruso and Lonzo Ball are defending individually and collectively at a high level. Zach LaVine is continuing what he did during Team USA. Team USA, he played the best defense of his entire life. He was a lockdown guy during the Olympics, and he's trying to carry that over. He looked pretty good. He had some outstanding possessions against Fred VanVleet last night. So for Chicago, some of these guys are defending at a high level. Patrick Williams is very good in the wing. So this bodes well for them when you also consider offensively. That's what this team is going to do. And I think I said this a couple weeks ago before the season began, during preseason. The question with them was like, is this going to be your turn, my turn,
Well,
not a lot of movement. And it's not that. They're moving the ball. They're screaming for each other. They look good.
The last 5 minutes of that game were a disaster. I mean,
but how often does that happen though during the 82 game regular season?
No, I know,
like
but I mean,
like teams just get stuck sometimes.
I watched Levine's post game, and what he was saying was, basically we got away with the win. He was pretty despondent about the whole thing, but he was pretty honest about it. We got 3 guys that are all kind of used to having the ball in their hands, when you're coming down the stretch of a game, and we got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because
100% end game for sure.
We know, because there's just a lot of standing around, like who's going to do what. And it did devolve into my turn, your turn. And you've got Levine, who was the guy taking the last shot for his team. DeRozan, guy taking the last shot for his team. Vucevic, for that matter, in many cases, taking the last shot for his team. And so they just got to kind of figure that out, because so many times there is that with NBA games and NBA teams, there's that guy that gets you home, right? Like, that's what the NBA is. There's not a lot of, 6 pass possessions to get the great shot. There's that Spurs team years ago playing against Miami that did it that way. But for the most part, it's kind of, I've got my guy, you've got your guy. He's going to decide the end of this game.